What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to today's video where we're going to make a product display board for this, a balm that my mother makes, a CBD balm. To accomplish this, we need to do three things. First, we need to get the design made from the file that my mom sent over that has the general design, but we need to get the measurement and the size of this perfectly set into it, also the depth and all that stuff, and convert the image over so we can both laser engrave it and then CNC mill out the space for this to get inset into the wood. 2, we need to find the piece of wood that we're actually going to use to make this piece. And then 3, we need to get to the actual manufacturing itself. My mom sent over this file right here, and the circle is just kind of an approximation of size. So I'm going to take that part out and then use the rest of that as the file we're going to input in for the laser engraving software on our tablet. And then as far as the wood itself, I actually, it's funny, it's literally right here, and I was gonna move it over while we find the right piece, but I have this piece of plywood. It's probably about 3/4 inch thick, finished grade plywood. So let's make sure the dimensions are proper, and we might just roll with this. 12.5 and some change, 12 and almost 3/4, by obviously more than that. Yeah, I think this would be actually lovely for what we're going for. Nice. Pretty clean edges other than that one little corner. Okay. I think we got a pretty solid square. Got the edges pretty clean, which is what I was really aiming for. We might or might not put trim on it, and I just want it to be able to look nice on its own. So, 1 foot by 1 foot. Now we just need to get the file, prepare it, and do the laser engraving. We're going to go into Laser Greeble. Open up, we did make a modified version of the file without the blue circle because we don't want to engrave that. That looks good. Next, make sure, we need to do some math to figure out what the size is. What is 12 inches to millimeters? I think it's like 304.8. Ah yes, good old photographic memory. Okay, cool. Rest of that's good since we burned wood last time. Click create. Cool. Let's connect the machine, make sure the wood's set up properly, and get to getting. Okay, I'm quite happy with this. I do feel like I could have aligned it a little better. This top corner, it's like slightly askew, but I think that's kind of me being a perfectionist. I think it's pretty solid overall. Pretty happy with that. I'm just gonna make sure that's the right size of the tin. I'm pretty sure that is, but just make sure that we don't etch a hole for the wrong size thing. Also, while I'm at it, I really want to make for TesCon coming up, and for when we start just vending at different fairs, like or markets, little like plywood inserts that sit into like a broader piece of wood that'll say like hats, you know, $20, 2 for $30 or something like that. So might, while we have the laser hooked up, play around with the design and engrave that real quick, and then once we switch the spindle over, engrave the hole when we get the dimensions right, and then cut those out. So just brainstorming a little while we have this on. I kind of got Got the juices flowing.
Ready to go walk? I did notice while making that piece that it was pretty large, and hit my mom up, and apparently she did ask after I remember we discussed it, and I think we started in 12 inch by 12 inch and then settled on 9 by 9. So for the sake of it fitting on some like merch shelves and stuff, I'm going to make another one, but I still think the 12 by 12 is pretty cool, and I'm glad I asked because I did have the wrong size of jar. So the 2 ounce is the 4 ounce one, so a different one. But I also have that, so I'll take the measurement for that and get that cut out. Then also I created in both Canva and then an easel, which is the CNC machining program. I created a file to cut out the cardboard, a plywood pricing sign for the hats that we're gonna sell. Dang, this sweet pea's sticking up like it's probably taller than me. Probably about 6 foot tall, sticking out of the bushes. Looking like it's getting ready to flower soonish. Yo, there's actually more of this sage like everywhere now that I look. This is a whole other area we didn't even know it was here. This time of year it's kind of like vegetative growth that's shooting up. There's a ton of it everywhere. Woo, sage. Might turn the generator on for a little bit because not last night but night before we ran out of power and ended up having to turn the generator on at like midnight to make dinner, late dinner. But yeah, I always feel like a jerk when you have to start a generator that late, so I'd rather start it earlier than just charge up the batteries for later. So I might get that going.
Okay, we have a pretty lovely piece of thin plywood, 5.5 millimeters thick. It's just about 7.5 inches wide, which is what we've set into our coordinates in our program. And then we set it to 11 inches tall. 11 inches there. Boom. Got it loaded in. Saying it's gonna take 15 minutes. Getting to be a little late, but got this switched over to the CNC. This is the shape we're gonna cut out. Got the bit set, and hopefully it's good. Okay, that was a little funky, but let's see. Let's see if it cut all the way through, then it should be good. Huh. It looks pretty close, but I almost wonder, like, do we do like one more? You know what? For the sake of not risking the machine / the bit, let's just see what we got, and we can always sand this, or worst case cut another one. Okay, we got some of it free, but it's just really this back side and this back corner up here. Definitely didn't cut through enough. And I think it's because partially our bed isn't leveled properly, so we need to actually, that's something. And for alignment and stuff, there's actually a couple things we need to do to get the bed set up more, and that's today's really making me realize that's probably something we should prioritize before even doing other crafts, just getting the whole setup set up properly. But let's see if we can like cut the rest of this off or something. Well, it actually works great. Okay, it not cutting all the way through and me messing up this side a bit. We'll sand this down later. Aside, I actually think it's pretty nice. And obviously if we just had it cut through, like if we had more spoil board beneath it and we just had this cut extra deep so it cut all the way through, it was fixed enough. Just honestly, I'm still learning like best practices, and I just need to mess things up a couple times and then realize I don't know why this machine's on still. Ah, oh, so much better. Well, I saw the generator on in the background, but we'll call that 10. 126 by 10. The moment of truth. It's a little too tight. Thought we should maybe given it a little more wiggle room. So you definitely don't have to bring a hammer to the craft fair, but look at that. Functional little sign. A little rough around the edges, but aren't we all? Aren't we all? Okay, cool. I'm actually quite happy with it. And then last but not least, I would like to finish what we started with this. So gonna engrave the circle for the can. Let's see the size of it. This is the correct size, the 4-ounce one, the larger one. Okay, because it's metal, I'm gonna go with what this is shown right here. 80.6. I think we try that. Okay, so this could be a little better. That's what I was worried about with that bit going through so quick. But this actually has a lip, I think. Without further ado, let's just see. Oh, what did we not learn our lesson? I said we should go bigger, and then I didn't go bigger. That's so frustrating. I knew we should have gone a little larger. Well, that's on me. If I got sawdust and shit on my hair. The hard thing is going to be getting it lined up again, even if we do try to mill it again, so it doesn't get off center. Our lesson that we've learned now, this is the second little slot thing we've cut for something. Maybe even 0.5 millimeter larger is what we should do. But yeah, that's a life lesson learned. Hopefully we actually internalize it after the last one, because we said we were gonna do that and then we didn't. But pretty stoked. This pretty successful little sign. This overall, I mean, it's holding it in. Looking nice, just needs to fit a little better. So yeah, as our battery's saying it's dying, second battery we've used today. Gonna call it. I'm gonna call it for the day. It's like past 10 p.m. It's gonna be a late night of editing probably, I realized. But sometimes you just gotta see some things through. So I'm glad we did. Much love everyone. Hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever time it is you're watching this. Much love. Hash brand over and out. Peace.
Thanks for watching my vlog. Watch another or subscribe here.